family English podcast from Speak English with Class. Hey, English learners, welcome back to your favorite cozy corner, the Family English Podcast. This is our special place to learn easy, natural English through real, everyday conversations. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jake. Welcome back, guys. Today's episode hits a little differently. We're breaking down a specific type of personal power, the kind of quiet strength that never feels the need to shout to get its point across.
Yes. Today, we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for everyone. Calm. Real, deep calm. It's the kind of inner strength that keeps you steady when everything around you is trying to pull you apart. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we just want to stop and say a massive thank you to our audio family.
Yeah, let's pause right there and say a real, genuine thank you to everyone tuning in. Thank you for the thumbs up, the incredibly thoughtful comments, and the steady stream of support you send to this channel week after week. It doesn't go unnoticed.
It honestly means the world to us. It really does. Every single time you listen, leave a comment, or share your own stories, you make this community feel so alive and special. We read your messages, we smile, we laugh, and to be honest, sometimes we get a little emotional reading about your learning journeys.
It really is a beautiful thing. Think about it. We have people waking up or winding down in completely different corners of the globe, coming from entirely different walks of life, all crossing paths right here to grow their English together. It's amazing. And speaking of our community, there's a specific question that's been taking over our comment section lately.
Lately, a lot of you have been asking a really important question. Is just listening actually enough to improve my English? If you've ever wondered that, please hear me clearly. Do not underestimate what active listening is doing for your brain. It isn't passive time. Every minute you listen, your mind is absorbing the natural rhythm, the subtle sentence structures, and the melody of real English. Progress can feel completely invisible at first, like a seed growing underground.
And honestly, you shouldn't expect to. That progress is happening beneath the surface. Maybe you aren't delivering flawless speeches today, but have you noticed that native speakers sound a little less fast than they did last month? Maybe certain idioms are finally clicking, or you're guessing the meaning of words contextually without running to a dictionary. That is real compounding progress.
Exactly. Real progress is quiet. Too many learners think it only counts when they can open their mouth and speak perfectly right away. But that's just not how language acquisition works. It has to fill your ears before it can flow from your tongue.
Exactly. Think of it like a sponge. First, the language pours in, then it absorbs and settles deep into your subconscious, and only then does it start to naturally spill back out. So if you are showing up consistently and tuning in, even on the days your brain feels totally fried, you are moving forward. Language learning isn't a straight line. It's a messy, beautiful build.
So if you're showing up and listening regularly, even on the days it feels tough, you are building a massive foundation. If you've noticed a breakthrough lately, even a tiny one, tell us in the comments. Your win might be the exact motivation another family member needs today. And that actually bridges beautifully into our main topic. Real growth doesn't need to make a lot of noise.
Aw, look at us getting all philosophical and emotional before the episode even fully starts. Our listeners are going to tell us this intro is longer than their 5-year career plans.
Yes, we got a bit deep there, Jake. People are going to think our intro is longer than their life goals. But honestly, this topic deserves a thoughtful start because true calm isn't flashy. It's low-key powerful. People often mistake a quiet person for someone who is weak, passive, or easy to push around. In reality, calm means I see exactly what this chaotic moment is trying to do to my emotions, and I refuse to give it permission. That's why being calm can actually make people incredibly nervous. Today, we're breaking down why calm is misunderstood, why it rattles people, and why it always wins in the long run.
Exactly. So just lean back, let the pressure drop, and let the flow of the conversation naturally carry the English to you. Stick around until the end, too, because we've put together a specialized word tour to give you the exact high-level vocabulary you need to discuss emotional intelligence and inner strength.
We'll also have our signature word tour later on. So if you've ever managed to stay quiet when the old version of you would have started shouting, or if you're trying to figure out how to be strong without becoming a cold wall, this episode is written just for you. Think about it and drop your answer below. Is a calm mind something you're born with, or is it a shield that life forces you to forge the hard way?
Ooh, now that is a killer question to start the day.
I know, it's a quiet topic, but a dangerous question.
Boom, spot on. And hey, if you love leveling up your vocabulary through these real unscripted discussions, take a quick second to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend who needs a little boost today. All right, let's kick things off. Why do people automatically associate being calm with being weak?
I think one big reason people misinterpret it is that calm doesn't feel the need to announce itself. It doesn't stride into a room demanding attention or shouting, "Look at how powerful I am."
Right. It doesn't feel the need to put on a theatrical performance.
Exactly. Noise is easy to see, so people naturally notice a loud reaction first. Society has conditioned us to trust noise and performative confidence before we trust quiet depth.
Oh, I love that phrase, noise before depth. Because we're almost wired to think that the person who talks the loudest, reacts the fastest, interrupts others, or slams their hand on the table holds all the cards. But when someone meets a chaotic situation with a steady gaze and a lower volume, it flips the script entirely.
Right. And when a person is truly composed, they keep their hands on the steering wheel of their own emotions, even when the passenger is screaming. That sounds beautiful in a quote, but it's incredibly hard to execute in real life.
Exactly. It sounds incredibly poetic when you read it in a self-help book, but it's a whole different ballgame at 8:17 p.m. on a Tuesday when you're in the heat of a frustrating family argument.
Very specific, Jake. I respect the detail, but you're spot on. Calm is constantly misread by the outside world.
Absolutely. Because misread means people look at you and draw the completely wrong conclusion. They see your silence and label you as passive, timid, or easy to ignore. What they completely miss is the absolute mountain of mental weightlifting you're doing internally just to keep your feet firmly planted on the ground.
That's the hidden battleground, isn't it? People only see the stillness on the surface.
That's the invisible part of the equation right there.
Exactly. Think of it like a massive tree with deep, unseen roots. It doesn't look dramatic on a sunny day. It just stands there. But when the storm hits, that's when you realize where the strength was all along. Stillness isn't a lack of energy. It's centered stability.
Man, that tree analogy is perfect. Because from a distance, absolute stillness looks like inactivity. But up close, you realize it's pure structural stability. Calm is an active choice, and people judge quiet things way too fast.
It's a huge misconception. People assume that if you aren't reacting with fire, you must not care. But the opposite is often true. Sometimes the calmest person in the room is navigating an ocean of intense feeling, but they are choosing to hold themselves with immense care and boundaries.
That takes an immense amount of self-possession. And honestly, this is something our English learning family deals with every single day. Yes, and here is where the psychology gets really fascinating. Once people realize they can't misread your calm as weakness, it starts making them incredibly nervous.
Our English learners deal with this exact pressure. When you choose your words slowly, speak deliberately, and take pauses, people might mistake it for a lack of fluency or confidence. But remember, a thoughtful pause isn't a weakness. It means you are being a respectful, clear-thinking speaker. Take your time. It really does. Some people are only comfortable in relationships or arguments when they know exactly how to pull your emotional triggers.
Right. If they know exactly which buttons to push to make you snap, they feel like they dictate the terms of the relationship.
Exactly. If they can successfully provoke you, they feel like they own the room. To provoke someone is to intentionally step on their emotional buttons to get a predictable, messy reaction.
Exactly. Anger, panic, immediate defensiveness, those are predictable scripts. People know how to handle a fight. But when they throw chaos at you and you meet them with absolute unbothered composure, the old script breaks. Suddenly, they are the ones left feeling entirely unsettled.
It completely derails them. When someone expects a shouting match and you respond with a quiet, steady gaze, they feel totally unsettled. You've introduced an entirely different game, and they don't know the rules.
A rough day in the office for chaos.
A terrible day for chaos. It was expecting fire to feed on and found nothing but a brick wall. That's the secret. Calm shifts the entire chemistry of a room. It starves the drama until it burns out all by itself.
Oh, that's an incredible way to frame it. It's exactly like someone winding up and throwing a baseball as hard as they can at a brick wall, only to find the wall vanished and their own momentum sends them flying forward into the dirt. Their toxic energy has nowhere to land.
That is a brilliant analogy, Jake. It really is like that. Calm doesn't exhaust itself trying to fight the storm. It just refuses to give the storm fuel. That quiet refusal speaks volumes.
It's the ultimate boundary. It loudly communicates, I see the trap you're setting, and I'm choosing not to step in it. It's deeply disorienting for anyone who is looking for a reaction, a shouting match, or an emotional performance.
It changes the whole dynamic. In English conversations, people sometimes expect a non-native speaker to panic or over-apologize when they drop a vocabulary word. But if you just pause, smile, and calmly find another way to say it, you completely control the energy. Your calm makes you look fluent before your grammar is even perfect.
That is a massive takeaway for fluency, honestly. Calm isn't just a shield against external drama, it fundamentally alters the landscape of your internal mind.
It's an internal shield. Calm acts as a filter that protects your mental clarity.
Right. And clarity means having a clean, unobstructed view of reality so you can make strategic choices.
When pressure hits, it fills your head with white noise and makes every tiny issue feel like a 5-alarm fire. That's when we speak too fast, over-explain out of guilt, or say things we have to apologize for later. Staying grounded keeps you from making a bad moment permanent.
Exactly. I always visualize high-pressure situations like a sudden blinding storm. When the emotional wind starts howling, it's easy to lose your footing and get swept away. But if you are grounded, you have an anchor. You don't fly off the handle with every passing feeling.
It's so true. You can still feel the heat, but you don't let it burn your house down. You give yourself a moment to separate what is urgent from what is actually important. One reactive sentence can easily create a week's worth of damage.
Let's be completely honest. As human beings, we are absolute experts at taking a 10-second emotional flashpoint and turning it into a full week of administrative inconvenience for ourselves.
That's where the magic is. Calm creates a tiny, crucial buffer zone between a frustrating event and your actual response. And that tiny buffer changes your entire life.
That's the punchline right there. Calm doesn't miraculously delete the pressure or change the facts of the situation, but it acts as a circuit breaker. It stops the pressure from hijacking your prefrontal cortex and ruining your ability to think.
It keeps your brain online and available to you. For language learners, panic is the ultimate thief. When you stress out, your brain locks up the vocabulary you actually know.
Yes, it's a total game changer for speaking a second language. Your vocabulary didn't just pack its bags and leave your brain. The anxiety just locked the door first. Calm holds the key, allowing you to pause, breathe, and retrieve the words you actually know instead of completely freezing up.
The English didn't vanish. Your anxiety just blocked the exit. So calm protects your memory and gives you permission to pause instead of freezing up. And honestly, it protects something even deeper, your personal dignity.
Spot on. Because in high-stakes moments, the biggest threat isn't the difficult conversation or the mistake you just made. It's who you allow that pressure to turn you into.
That completely hits home. In a toxic situation, the real danger isn't just the argument itself.
It's who you allow that argument to turn you into. A bad reaction can make you feel so small and full of regret later on. That's why practicing restraint is a superpower.
Exactly. Restraint means executing the self-control to hold yourself back from a knee-jerk reaction you'll have to apologize for later. It's hard when your pride is stung or you feel completely misunderstood, but maintaining your poise is how you walk away with your head held high.
Dignity is that quiet self-respect that stays intact even when the environment around you is completely messy. It's understanding that winning an argument at the cost of your character is a massive loss. Real dignity is leaving a tense conversation knowing you didn't lose your composure.
That line needs to be framed, Anna. That is pure gold. A loud, explosive reaction might give you a cheap, fleeting sense of validation for about 60 seconds, but dignity is the investment that pays dividends when you're looking back at the situation next week.
Calm English isn't flawless, textbook perfect English. It's grounded, confident, authentic communication. At the end of the day, people will naturally forget your minor grammar mistakes, but they will never forget the steady energy you brought to the room. Before we wrap things up today, let's transition into our word tour. Let's slow down our pace and lock in some of the most powerful vocabulary pieces we used in today's conversation.
Absolutely. Today's theme was all about that quiet, understated power. The vocabulary we highlighted today is specifically curated to help you articulate concepts like performance under pressure, self-mastery, and internal boundaries with pinpoint precision. Let's dive in.
Let's start with a beautiful descriptor: composed. When a person is composed, they are entirely steady, controlled, and peaceful, specifically when things get chaotic. For instance, even though the meeting turned into a massive debate, she remained beautifully composed. Or he appeared totally composed on the outside, masking the nerves within. Speak it with me. Composed.
Composed.
Composed. Our next term is misread. To be misread means to be entirely misunderstood or interpreted incorrectly by others. For example, her introverted nature was constantly misread as arrogance. Or, he stayed quiet during the crisis, but people misread his calculation as panic. Let's practice. Misread.
Misread.
Misread. Moving on to a crucial word for handling conflict: provoke. To provoke someone means to deliberately aggravate or push them emotionally just to get an angry reaction. For example, the rival player tried to provoke him into getting a penalty. Or, don't let minor comments provoke you out of your peace. Repeat after me. Provoke.
Our next key term is unsettled. When a person feels unsettled, they are emotionally thrown off balance, uncomfortable, or suddenly uncertain of their surroundings. For instance, the unexpected silence from the audience left the speaker feeling completely unsettled, or she felt deeply unsettled by the sudden shift in his tone. Let's hear it. Unsettled.
Unsettled.
Let's pivot to our critical contrast word: suppression. Suppression is the unhealthy habit of forcefully burying your emotions and pushing them down instead of processing them honestly. For instance, constant emotional suppression is a shortcut to psychological burnout. Or, his calm outward appearance was just a mask for deep-seated suppression. Let's vocalize it. Suppression.
Suppression.
Next is numb. If someone is numb, they are completely checked out emotionally, experiencing a total sense of internal disconnection. For example, after working a grueling 80-hour week, he felt completely numb to the stress. Or she wasn't being calm during the argument. She was just entirely numb. Repeat it. Numb.
Numb.
Now for a beautifully resilient word: resilient. To be resilient means you possess the psychological elasticity to bounce back, adapt, and keep moving forward after hitting a major roadblock. For instance, the local business community proved incredibly resilient after the economic downturn. Or being resilient doesn't mean you don't feel the blow. It means you refuse to stay down. Let's hear it. Resilient.
Resilient.
Next up is a superpower of an attribute: restraint. Restraint is the conscious act of holding yourself back and exercising self-control, especially when tempted to react impulsively. For example, showing incredible restraint, he chose not to fire back at the insult. Or it takes massive structural restraint to stay quiet when you know you're right. Together now? Restraint.
Restraint.
Moving on to seasoned. When a person is described as seasoned, it means they have been shaped, polished, and made wiser by an extensive history of real-world experience. For example, as a seasoned negotiator, she read between the lines instantly. Or he brought a seasoned perspective to the young startup team. Your turn. Seasoned.
Seasoned.
And finally, a foundational phrase for daily life: self-regulation. Self-regulation is the active, healthy management of your own emotional states and behavioral reactions. For example, mastering self-regulation is the first step toward high leadership capabilities. Or journaling is a phenomenal tool for emotional self-regulation. Let's say it. Self-regulation.
Self-regulation. Wow, those are such grounding words to add to your toolkit.
They really do. They elevate the conversation because they allow you to analyze calm not just as a random mood, but as a deliberate structure that a person carefully constructs over time.
And that really captures the heart of what we wanted to share with our podcast family today.
Exactly. It's about learning how to keep your hands on the wheel when the external environment gets loud and chaotic.
Exactly. It's a deep, welcoming strength.
Not at all. It's vibrant, stable, and deeply authentic.
If this conversation gave your mind a little bit of breathing room today, we hope it encourages your personal growth and gives you a surge of confidence the next time you step into a fast-paced English environment. Keep nurturing your English, and above all, take care of your heart. This has been Anna.
And this is Jake. Thank you for anchoring your time with us today on the Family English Podcast. Keep growing, keep breathing, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.